Before we continue, pause for just a moment and think about something simple but meaningful. In this video, you're going to explore how people from every corner of the world carry a sense of pride for their homeland, how culture and identity shape the way we see our countries, and how sharing these stories helps us understand each other better. Every nation has its own beauty, traditions, and symbols, and today we are going to discover how those differences connect us instead of separating us. Before we begin, make sure you subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon so you never miss more informative and interesting videos like this one. Now let me ask you something before you keep watching. It's a very simple question, but the answer can reveal a lot about who we are. Right now, wherever you are in the world, which country are you proudly watching from? Take a moment and think about it. Maybe you're sitting at home, maybe you're on your phone during a break at work, or maybe you're relaxing somewhere quiet at the end of a long day. No matter where you are, your country is part of your story. People from all over the world watch videos like this. Some are in large cities filled with busy streets and bright lights. Others might be in small towns surrounded by mountains, forests, deserts, or oceans. Yet, despite the distance between these places, something interesting happens when people gather in one space online. Suddenly, viewers from many different countries are sharing the same moment. That's why it's always fascinating to see where everyone is watching from. When people write their country in the comment section turns into something special. It becomes a place where cultures meet. Someone from Japan might comment right next to someone from Brazil. A viewer in Canada might read a comment from someone in Turkey, India, France, Nigeria, or Australia. Within a few minutes, people realize just how wide and diverse the world really is. But let's take that question one step further. It's not only about where you are from, it's also about how you feel about that place. So here's another question: what makes you proud of your country? Every country has something unique that its people value deeply. For some, it might be the history of their nation and the stories passed down through generations. For others, it might be the beauty of the landscape, mountains that stretch across the horizon, rivers that flow through ancient cities, or coastlines where the ocean meets the sky. Some people feel proud of their culture, their traditions, and the way communities celebrate important moments together. Festivals, music, art, and language often carry the spirit of a nation. Even food can be a powerful symbol of identity. A simple traditional dish can tell a story about history, geography, and family traditions all at once. In fact, one of the most interesting ways to describe a country is with just a single word. If you had to choose only one word to describe your homeland, what would it be? Some might say beautiful, others might say strong, historic, diverse, peaceful, or even resilient. One word might seem small, but it often carries a powerful meaning. Think about it for a moment. What is one thing that makes your country truly special? Perhaps it's the natural beauty that surrounds you every day. Maybe your country has forests filled with wildlife, vast deserts with endless horizons, or mountains that rise high above the clouds. Some places are known for their colorful cities and lively streets, while others are famous for calm landscapes and quiet villages. And then there are the animals that represent a nation's identity. Many countries have animals that people see as symbols of strength, freedom, wisdom, or courage. These animals often appear in national emblems, cultural stories, or traditional art. For example, some countries are known for powerful animals like lions or eagles that symbolize bravery and independence. Others are represented by animals that reflect harmony with nature or long-standing cultural traditions. These symbols are not just images, they represent how people see their country and the values they associate with it. So here is one more question for you to think about. What animal is special or symbolic in your country? Is there a creature that people instantly connect with your homeland? Maybe it appears on your national flag or coat of arms. Maybe it's an animal that lives naturally in your region and has become part of your cultural identity. Or maybe it's simply a creature that people feel represents the spirit of the country. Whatever your answers are, we would love to hear them. Tell us your country, one word that describes it, something beautiful about your homeland, and the animal that symbolizes it. Because when people from different parts of the world share these things, something interesting happens. We begin to learn about each other, And sometimes understanding begins with something as simple as a conversation. When people from different countries share their thoughts, even through something as small as a comment online, the world suddenly feels a little smaller and a little more connected. A person sitting thousands of miles away might read about a place they have never visited, yet for a moment they can imagine what life there might feel like. That is one of the most interesting things about learning where people come from. Every country carries its own story. Some stories are built through centuries of history, shaped by generations who lived, worked, struggled, and celebrated in the same land. Other stories are still unfolding today as nations grow, change, and continue defining their identity in a modern world. When someone says they are proud of their country, that pride often comes from many different sources. It may come from the strength of the people who live there. It may come from traditions that have survived for hundreds or even thousands of years. Sometimes it comes from the natural beauty of the land itself, something that people grow up seeing every day until they realize how special it truly is. For example, think about how different the landscapes of the world can be. Some countries are filled with tall mountains that stretch across the horizon, creating breathtaking views that feel almost endless. Others are known for wide open plains where the sky seems larger than anywhere else. In some regions, dense forests cover the land, filled with wildlife and quiet natural beauty. In other places, bright coastlines meet the ocean, where waves move steadily against the shore. For the people who grow up in these places, those landscapes become part of their identity. The environment shapes the culture, the traditions, and even the daily life of the community. Farmers, fishermen, craftsmen, artists, and builders all develop ways of living that reflect the environment around them. Culture also plays an important role in shaping how people see their homeland. Music, clothing, language, and traditional celebrations all carry pieces of a nation's story. Festivals often bring communities together, allowing people to celebrate history and share customs that have been passed down through generations. In many countries, these traditions are deeply connected to family life. Children grow up learning songs, stories, and customs from their parents and grandparents. Over time, those traditions become something that people carry with them throughout their lives. Even when someone moves far away from home, those cultural memories often remain strong. Food is another powerful part of cultural identity. A traditional dish is rarely just a meal. It often represents history, geography, and family traditions all at once. Ingredients reflect the natural resources of the land, while cooking techniques reveal the creativity and knowledge passed down through generations. When people talk about what makes them proud of their country, food is often one of the first things they mention. A simple plate of traditional cuisine can instantly remind someone of home, no matter where they are in the world. Language is another important part of national identity. Each language carries its own expressions, humor, and way of describing the world. Words can reflect the values and traditions of the people who speak them. Even the way stories are told can reveal a great deal about a culture's perspective and history. But beyond culture and landscapes, there is another symbol that many nations share: animals that represent the spirit of the country. These animals are not chosen randomly. Often they reflect qualities that people admire, such as strength, courage, wisdom, freedom, or resilience. For example, some countries are symbolized by birds that represent freedom and vision. Eagles, for instance, are often associated with power and independence. Other nations connect with animals known for strength and determination, such as lions, bears, or tigers. In some places, the symbolic animal reflects harmony with nature rather than power. Animals that live peacefully within forests, mountains, or rivers may represent balance, patience, and respect for the environment. These symbols often appear in national flags, official emblems, historical stories, and cultural artwork. Over time, they become deeply connected to how people imagine the character of their nation. Sharing stories from different countries changes how we see the world. Rather than distant places, we see a network of unique cultures. We realize that pride in one's homeland is universal. Whether it's memories of childhood streets or the resilience of a nation, we are all connected. The spirit of a nation lives in its art, music, and traditions. These cultural contributions become a bridge between societies. What makes a country truly special are the everyday qualities of its people, their kindness, resilience, and sense of community. Even nature and symbolic animals help form a unique identity. When we share these details, the world becomes less distant. Instead of unfamiliar places on a map, countries become living communities filled with stories and people who care. Understanding another culture begins with something as small as asking a question and listening to the answer. When people share what their country means to them, they describe a piece of their identity that shapes how they connect with the world. Explaining what makes a country special forces us to reflect on details we might otherwise overlook, from quiet landscapes to vibrant festivals. Every nation, whether known for ancient history or modern innovation, carries something deeply valuable and worth sharing. One of the most powerful things that happens is that common themes appear: pride in tradition, respect for history, and a shared love for nature. Animals chosen as national symbols often reveal these shared values: strength, freedom, and wisdom, reminding us of the ideals we all represent. These moments of discovery change our perspective, turning distant countries into familiar communities filled with proud individuals. While our countries may be different, the feelings that connect us to them are remarkably the same. We all have deep reasons to feel proud of where we call home. For many individuals, the idea of home is closely linked to the people around them. Family members, friends, and neighbors all play a role in building the character of a community. Celebrations, shared meals, and local traditions slowly become part of a nation's identity. These small moments form the cultural fabric that makes each country unique. When people begin sharing these details with others from different parts of the world, something meaningful happens. They start to see that every nation carries its own beauty. Sometimes that beauty appears in famous landmarks or well-known cities, but often it can be found in quieter places as well. A peaceful village, a traditional marketplace, or a natural landscape can reveal just as much about a country as its most famous attractions. Nature itself often plays a major role in how people describe their homeland. Mountains, rivers, deserts, forests, and coastlines all shape the lives of those who live nearby. These natural environments influence local traditions, occupations, and even the foods that become part of a country's culture. Over generations, people learn to live in harmony with the landscapes around them. Animals continue to be an important part of this connection to nature. In many countries, certain animals are closely associated with national identity. They may appear on official emblems, in traditional stories, or in artwork that reflects cultural pride. These animals often represent qualities that people admire, such as courage, independence, wisdom, or balance. When someone shares the animal that symbolizes their country, they are often sharing more than just a name. They are revealing something about how their nation sees itself and the values it hopes to represent. These symbols become part of a shared understanding that connects generations of people to the same traditions. At the same time, conversations about countries also remind us how much we can learn from each other. Hearing about another nation's culture, history, or natural beauty can inspire curiosity and respect. It encourages people to look beyond stereotypes and discover the real stories behind different places. The world becomes far more interesting when we take the time to listen to these stories. Every country has something meaningful to contribute to the global community, and every person has a perspective shaped by their homeland. That is why sharing where we come from can be such a powerful experience. It opens the door for learning, connection, and understanding between people who might otherwise never have crossed paths. And that is exactly how meaningful connections begin to grow. When people from different countries start sharing their experiences, the world slowly begins to feel less divided and more connected. Every country has a story that continues to evolve, representing the efforts of people who built their society and passed their values forward. When someone proudly says the name of their country, they are often thinking about far more than just geography. They think of traditions, languages, and celebrations that bring communities together. This sense of unity is reflected in national symbols, flags, monuments, and historical landmarks that connect people to their identity and shared values. Many nations also choose animals to symbolize their spirit. Whether it's the strength of a lion or the freedom of an eagle, these creatures represent the qualities we admire most. Learning about the traditions of others enriches our lives. It turns curiosity into respect and helps us recognize the shared human experiences that connect everyone. Which country are you watching from today? And what animal represents the spirit of your nation? Share your answers in the comments. When we share our stories, we learn something new about the world and each other. Understanding begins with simply introducing where we come from.